Let's go over to Trump trial. I want to give everybody an update. Yes, I know that the details are maddening, but yesterday genuinely was an important moment at the Trump trial. Let's put this up there on the screen. This was chaos at the trial. Judge clears the courtroom over irritation with the Trump defense witness. So everybody stick with me here because it basically comes back to a lawyer. His name is Robert Costello, was actually called by the Trump defense team to discuss a previous meeting that he had with Michael Cohen. That meeting allegedly took place in April of 2018 after the FBI had raided Cohen's hotel room, home, and office. Now, according to Costello, he says, quote, he was putting on quite a show, referring to Michael Cohen, and that he was actually introduced basically to call into question Michael Cohen's both state of mind and to say that he was suicidal, that he was, quote, a drama queen, and several others. The judge ended up actually clearing the courtroom because they were very upset with Costello apparently audibly jeering the judge and his own rulings, saying, before clearing the courtroom, Merchant sent the jurors out, scolded Costello for saying geez in response to objections from prosecutors and for giving the judge, quote, side eye. So there was some shenanigans that were happening there. So all of this was actually called, Ryan, in the defense. You have anything you want to say before we get to what Michael Cohen admitted to on the stand?
At one point, the judge said to the witness, are you staring me down right now?
So they were squaring up, the witness to the judge.
They almost fought.
Yeah, these are Trump. Trump really does bring out the worst of us, doesn't he? But let's get to, the actual major part here. The media was all focused in on this part, right? On this Costello thing. I couldn't help noticing that Michael Cohen on the stand under oath straight up admitted to stealing $50,000 from Trump in this alleged transfer of funds. So again, if we'll all remember, Cohen takes out like a mortgage on his house. He pays off Stormy Daniels. Trump then has a portion of his Trump Organization funds, which are then reimbursed to Michael Cohen. The allegation is that reimbursement, which Trump reported as a payment, was not actually for compensation. It was done for election purposes. To make it even more convoluted, in New York state law, what I just described there is just a misdemeanor and not a felony. So to make it a felony, it had to have been done in order to cover up a second crime, even though that second crime is a federal unprosecuted crime. Right. You guys sticking with me here? Well, what Cohen admitted to does not require any convoluted logic. Don't even have to ask me. Here is a CNN analyst who is like, honestly, this is a worse crime than what Trump is being charged with. Let's take a listen.
Michael Cohen explained this whole thing, quote, that's what was owed, and I didn't feel Mr. Trump deserved the difference. That's a lot different than I stole $60,000 from my boss on the transaction at the heart of this case. And by the way, the fact that he was never charged with larceny is important because stealing $60,000 through fraud, which would be larceny in New York State, is more serious of a crime than falsifying business records.
More serious of a crime than falsifying business records. Also, just so everybody is 100% clear, I'm going to read you a direct transcript from the trial. So you stole from the Trump Organization, right? Trump's lawyer asked Cohen. Yes, sir. That's what he said. It's like you can't even make this up. He also later testified that he stole as a form of self-help in response to Trump slashing his bonus from the $50,000 bonus that he received to the $150,000 that he had previously received. He says, I was angered because of the reduction, so I just felt like it was a form of almost like self-help. Self-help, and he admits, so you stole. He said, yes, I stole. He said that under oath, but he's given immunity by the prosecutors, Ryan.
I looked it up. Statute of limitations on grand larceny in New York is 5 years.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's passed.
But you can always fiddle with the statute of limitations, which Alvin Bragg did in this case too, because the statute had passed. But like you said, he figured out ways to extend the clock on that.
Right.
But yeah, like stealing $50,000 or $60,000 is a serious crime.
Right. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's the average American salary. He goes, "Have you paid back the Trump Organization?" No. This is part of the transcript. Now, why are we even focusing in on this? Because from my estimate, so again, if you go watch CNN primetime, and I try and check up on what these people are all doing ahead of their shows, they are all leading with the Costello thing, but they're not even mentioning the Michael Cohen thing. Well, the Michael Cohen admission of stealing of previously lying on behalf of Trump and also of straight up shenanigans has really wrecked a lot of the prosecution's case. All the prosecution or all the defense has to prove is that Michael Cohen is a politically motivated liar, admitted criminal, and that they have enough reasonable doubt that he's not telling the truth, that it was purely done for election purposes. As long as there is a single juror who is there in the box who believes that Trump did this just so he didn't want his wife to find out, he's scot-free. I mean, and I don't think that there is anything yet in this trial where you could prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this was 100% for election purposes, because I wouldn't believe that for anybody, including Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah. It's basically a state of mind trial and prosecution. And Trump has one of the most inscrutable states of mind and also one of the most readable.
Yeah, true.
It's a funny case because it turns on the question of whether or not he would feel personal or private shame before his wife or before his friends or the public if news of this affair broke out. And with almost every human being on the planet, you would say, well, of course, there'd be some shame associated with that.
Right.
Then the question for the jurors is Trump one of the unique figures on the planet who actually wouldn't care at all if this was out and is only concerned about the election and how this appears in the wake of the Access Hollywood tape at all. And so they have Michael Cohen testifying, no, it was 100% about the election, and I know that because he told me this, and because I've known him for a very long time. So then it does hinge on Cohen's credibility. The prosecutors asked him, you hate Trump, don't you? He's like,
yes.
He's like,
yes, I hate
you want him to go down,
right?
Don't you? And he's like, yeah, I want him to go down. And then he does. So he's motivated. He's a thief.
You just need one person.
He's a liar.
Right.
On the other hand, Trump did the thing he did. But yeah, that's the wild question that this turns on. Was it purely for the campaign, or was there some shred left of decency in him that didn't want that exposed? That's the funny question for the jury. Does Donald Trump have a single human shred of decency?
And that's literally all you need. You just need a single question of there. So,
but you could find 12 New Yorkers who are like, actually, no,
it's possible. Yeah, right. It could be political, but then
decency.
then we have questions about appeal and all that. It's not like things just end a single in one way. So just so everybody understands, Trump's lawyers are actually expected to rest their case in the criminal trial. That actually happened on Monday, and then as the testimony right now has gone forward, we would understand, at least procedurally, we will not get anything, I think, by the end of the week, just because I think the prosecutors get another turn. They might call somebody. We have closing arguments, et cetera, that will all play out. So the actual judgment from the jurors will come soon, but it's not going to come this week. That's another reason we wanted to check in with everybody.
And the content gods appear to have cursed us in that Donald Trump will not be testifying, it appears.
Yes, I know. That's just very, very sad.
Unless we all do our some type of content dance for those gods.
The irony is that he always wants to testify in his own defense.
Right.
I remember covering all of the Mueller stuff, and he was desperate, to do an interview with Mueller and to prove that he didn't do anything wrong, which, you can read the report and tell me what you want. But his lawyers were like, absolutely not. We can't allow that to happen. So in this case, it does appear that he has been convinced not to testify in his own defense. And he'll be very happy, I think, to get out of this. Regardless of what happens, he can at least campaign again. He doesn't have to be stuck in court
until he has more. Until he has more cases.
Those are going to be after the election, right? Yeah, because of the incompetence of all the prosecutors. So there is not a lot, I think, that Trump needs to worry about, I think, in the immediate future. Although, listen, what do I know? Maybe he gets convicted, and that's a whole other story.
And then even if he's convicted, you can still appeal the conviction.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can be free. You could be free on bond during that appeal.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.